Hello everyone, and welcome to the 100 Wonders of the World. Today we'll be talking about Bagan in Myanmar, and this is part of the continent Asia. Bagan, with over 2,000 preserved brick temples and pagodas, the historic royal city of Bagan in Myanmar is one of the most important and impressive archaeological sites in all of Southeast Asia. The former rulers of Bagan achieved their power through a subtle interplay of worldly and spiritual power. By the mid-19th century, Bagan had already become the economic and political center of Upper Burma, with its golden age unfolding between the years of 1044 and 1112 during the reigns of King Anawratha and his son, Kyanzittha. Both regents made use of Buddhism to support their religious hegemony and as an instrument of power. In 1056, after his conversion to Buddhism by a wandering monk, Anawratha drove priests of the competing snake cult out of the capital city of Bagan. Bagan's power and influence grew during the reigns of the kings Anawratha and Kyanzittha, growing in size until it covered an area of more than 5 square miles at its greatest extent, making it the large city in the medieval world, 5 times as large as contemporary London. And it was a peaceful city from the middle of the 9th through the 12th centuries. This freedom from the direct effects of war and conflict allowed the city to grow and develop undisturbed. Within a period of 250 years, the pious kings commissioned some 6,000 religious structures, of which perhaps some 2,000 temples and pagodas still survive. Unfortunately, a great many of the buildings were either destroyed completely or suffered severe damage as a result of catastrophic earthquake in 1975. The glory years of the peace and prosperity were followed by centuries of decline. The rulers had nearly emptied their treasures to pay for their extensive building programs, and at the same time they had simply reduced their income by extending tax-free status to all religious institutions within the kingdom, which included many prosperous temples and monasteries. The governors of provinces controlled by Bagan withdrew their support and stopped paying tributes, leading to a financial crisis that weakened the army and left Bagan's defenses in tatters. Bagan finally fell to the much feared Mongol ruler Kublai Khan in 1287, with the last Burmese king fleeing before him. With the mythos of Bagan destroyed, what was once a unified kingdom collapsed into numerous small states. Today, some 700 years later, Bagan is considered to be the most important archaeological site in Southeast Asia. In addition to the outstanding architectural monuments, the walls of Bagan are decorated with the oldest monumental paintings known from the region, dating to between the 11th and 13th centuries. One of the most beautiful monuments in Bagan is the Ananda Temple, now completely restored following its near leveling by 1975 earthquake. King Kyanzittha commissioned the temple in 1105, the beginning of the so-called Middle Period at the site. 4 enormous wooden statues of Buddha dominate the interior, 2 of them so cleverly carved as to give the impression that its facial expression changes as one approaches it. The largest temple in Bagan is the Damanyan Gi Pato, a pyramidal construction built in the 12th century during the regency of Kalagini. Its bricks are set to close to one another and pinned between them. It is said that that masons who could not achieve this level of perfection had their hands amputated by order of the king. The most of the famous of the 2,000 or sacred buildings is without a doubt the Shuigen Pagoda with its roof of shining gold. Began under the reign of King Anawratha, it was completed in the 12th century during the regency of his son, Kyanzittha, an emblem of the modern state of Myanmar. It reigns its ancient luster today. Now let's look at some of the most important dates. 19th century, Bagan became the economic and political capital of Upper Burma. 1044 to 1084, reign of King Anawratha. 1056, Anawratha drove out the snake cult. 1084, 1112, reign of King Kyanzittha. 1105, construction of the Ananda Temple began. 1287, the Mongols under Kublai Khan occupied Bagan. The kingdom dissolved into small states. 1975, an earthquake destroyed a large part of Bagan. Thank you for listening, everyone. Stay tuned for more of the 100 Wonders of the World.